Older adults age 65 or older comprise 14.9% of the total population in the USA. At least 10% of adults aged 65 and older will experience some form of elder abuse in a given year, with some older adults simultaneously experiencing more than one type of abuse. As over 90% of older adults reside in the community as opposed to various forms of congregated living situations. Most elder abuse is occurring among older adults living in the community. 1 in 12 go through psychological abuse, 1 in 20 physical abuse, 1 in 44 financial exploitation, and 1 out of 57 caregiver neglect.
All right, hey you guys, Whitney D here, and unfortunately, this particular interview is a little bit disturbing, and it's actually near and dear to myself, to say the utmost least. Biblically, we're supposed to take care of our elder. We're supposed to take care of the past, if you will. This generation, these times that we're in, is evil. Okay, and unfortunately, but fortunately, you guys get to meet my guests. They have a tragic story that they're going to share here with us on Whitney D. Okay, so let me go ahead and bring them on. Okay,
I'm a brand new creature cause the old me done died. I'm new, I'm new.
all right, hey ladies.
Hi.
Hello, hello.
Hi.
Okay,
Nice to meet
so nice to meet you guys finally. Okay, look, y'all, we was planning to do this in person, but I couldn't wait
I
on the
know.
studio no more. I was like, let's go, because this
Yes, I'm
story is
excited.
too important.
Yes,
So
yes.
okay, so can we go left to right and you guys introduce yourselves?
Well, I'm the granddaughter. My name is Becky.
Becky, okay,
Becky.
and then Mama Didi.
Right.
All right, I was just making sure I had that together. Okay, all right. So let's start from the beginning, and you guys tell me, where did you guys grow up at? Like, where you guys from?
Okay, well, originally we are from Florida. We've been in Florida for, we moved here probably about 20 years ago, my mother did. My mother and I. And I moved back to Florida because my sons, they are pastors there, and to help them in their ministry. So as me moving back to Florida, I had one of my family members to move in and take care of my mother.
We moved to Texas probably about 20, 30 years ago. My grandmother wanted to move here. My uncles had got her a home for her and my grandfather before he passed. He was only here like maybe a year before he passed. And because my grandmother loved him so, she stayed here because she wanted to be buried next to him. So that was important to her. So we've been in Texas now for a long time, but we're originally from Florida.
Got it. Okay. So what brought you guys to little old me?
Well, I seen your interview of my goddaughter pertaining her son with the Jakes family. And when I seen that interview, I said, I'm gonna reach out and see can I get an interview with her, with you. So that was one of the reasons when I seen that interview. I said, well, I would love to be able to do an interview with her. So
Absolutely. Well, my pleasure. And you told me, and she's talking about Michelle. You guys, Michelle
Right.
Loud. Okay, that's my girl.
Right.
But yes, if y'all have not seen that interview, please go check it out. Okay, I mean, it's distraught. It was almost during the 3 hours, but we was going, but
Right.
So
We still trust in God for that situation.
it's done.
God is gonna work it out for her also.
It's done. It's done. In the
Yes,
name of
yes.
Jesus. Okay. Well, I'm honored that you guys, wanted to come to me, and I'm going to do my due diligence to make sure this particular interview spreads and reaches,
Right.
and everything gets taken care of. So let's just get right into it. Okay. So your mother, and Becky, your grandmother, right?
It's
Her picture right there.
Okay. So
Mhm.
What happened? How did we get here?
We'll say about at least 2 years ago.
It started 2 years.
About 2 years ago, my family member, we put her over my grandmother to take care of her. At the time, my mother, she had moved back to where she was actually living in Florida, and she had to go back to help with my brother's ministry. And so we trusted this close family member to care for my grandmother while we wasn't, present. Um, Unfortunately, she was very, to say the least, abusive. Um, Very mean. She took her phone, took us away from communicating with her. Um, it was just a lot. She not necessarily physical abuse, but it was more of neglect.
Neglect, yeah.
She basically starved her. We actually have pictures of and unfortunately, when I went for that holiday, I think it was like Thanksgiving, maybe 2 years ago, and I noticed that my grandmother had seemed smaller. And when I took the picture and I later looked at it, I was like, oh my God. And I sent it to my mom and I said, Mom,
and I was on the flight the next day.
Yeah, I was like, she is getting little. And my grandma, she's a thick lady. This is her here on
she looked
our
beautiful.
wall picture. Yeah, she's not no skinny woman. So to seeing her losing weight like that, we were just like, what's going on?
Right.
And so when my mother finally did come into town, the family member, they called the police on us. They didn't want us to come around. They changed the locks on the doors. It was just hectic. It was a very traumatic situation. Go ahead.
My issue was that we called the programs for the adult abuse. We called them when we was in Florida, when we started seeing signs, because I had got her with an agency that they'll pay a family member. She was getting paid. But when she took the phone from her, which I bought her the phone, the home that my mother lived in, I got her that home. And so what upset me, because of the agency, they was called, they went out and do an investigation and left my mother, they didn't solve anything. Okay? Even when I got in town, she was able to call the police. Now the house is mine. The police made me leave my own home. Told me I had to leave. And my mother ended up going into the rehabilitation program. Rehabilitation that's it. Center. And while she was in there, they found out that my mother was going through abuse. They called the people themselves. They never returned a call to come in and do an interview with my mother.
And this is in Texas, right? This is
Texas.
Okay.
I have the lady name. She was called. She never came in to try to put her in a safe place or make sure that she was gonna be okay. Protected her. Okay, and so it had got to the point where she ended up going to the hospital because her health was going down. Even in the hospital, they came up there 3 times to do a investigation of my mother going through abuse. They never done anything.
They would just leave it on the desk.
They would just leave it on the desk. Even the doctor called them. The center called them. And it had got to a place where my brothers them came in town and they wanted to go to the police department to do a police report. The lady stopped answering the phone call. She wouldn't even go to the police station so my brothers them could do a police report. Um, when they kept calling her, but when I called her, she answered the phone, and I told her, I said, "Well, my siblings are in town. They want to go to the police department so they could do a report. So will you meet us there?" So she said yes. So when we got ready to go down there, I called her. She stopped answering my phone call. So it's like she is not there. They are not for the victim. They are for the
ones who committing the crimes, or
and
trying to protect them instead of protecting the elderly.
so I knew with my mother, I have all kind of recordings. She was afraid that once she went along when the people would come and she would tell them stuff, because she was afraid once they leave, she was gonna have to pay for more.
And I thought nothing of it. But it's all coming to my mind. She had no right to
a
do
regular
nothing.
small
A
cheeseburger.
regular cheeseburger, cut
she
in
was-
half. You give me half of the cheeseburger and the fries. She give him another half. But I knew Alexander was going first because
Alexander was eating somewhere else.
Yeah. But that's how you serving us. That's my meal.
Oh,
Cut it in half.
oh.
Couldn't even buy us a whole apple pie.
They ain't buy you a whole apple pie?
That's why you can't see him. I just want to look at the face. See, I didn't know all this.
That's what I'm telling you. I know you was
I just
losing weight.
wanna
I know you
see
was
her.
losing weight.
I want to see it. But why did you do that? You had everything. I mean, I have one penny nobody now.
You don't have to worry about that. Long we got, you ain't
I
finna-
wish I get my name off of Monica. But like you say, you got to worry them.
I don't want you worrying about that, Mama.
You doing my favor.
It's stuff we can't understand. You don't even try to understand it, because you won't never
You gonna
understand it of somebody else's heart. Only thing we can control is our heart.
If we're going to have a lunch with McDonald's, just give me mine and give me his.
So she had your money,
That's what I'm saying, DeAndre.
and she just bought one
DeAndre,
cheeseburger.
I done told you now.
But Mama, Becca used to come by. Why you didn't just hint to
Becky
Becky?
didn't come by there,
Mama,
DeAndre.
she came by a couple times when she bathed you. But
Becky,
you kept pushing
yeah,
her
she
out.
coming.
You could have
Don't
let
say
Becky
that,
know, Mama.
DeAndre.
I'm saying you could have some way let her know that you was not happy. What was going
So what
on?
could she do?
Let us
They'll
know,
be fighting when they come.
Mama.
Then all of
We would have been here. You could have told Becky, because
You know
Becky
what?
came over the plenty time.
I
Jennifer
made a
wasn't
big
there.
mistake, and all I'm gonna get out of this, God let me learn a lesson.
Yeah.
None of that ain't worth a dime. Because there's no way in the world I would have went through what I took. And she ain't did. She wasn't bad no expenses.
No, she is not going to bear no expenses.
And I told her, because then I don't know what her and that lady did. I don't know what she did and cut that social work off. So I told her, I said, you said they paying you $30 a week for whatever they giving you.
Mm-hmm.
I said, keep on just doing your job until we get other things set out.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I would give you more than $30. I would give you all my tithes.
Mm-hmm.
But the Bible said, bring your tithes into the storehouse.
Mm-hmm.
So that would have doubled her pay.
Mm-hmm.
Because then she would have been given all my tithes. We're going to go to her. And I said, you could just take them off the top. You know?
Mm-hmm. But she had the whole card, said she don't need for you.
But I
She
was
had
just
all your
saying, I
money.
didn't want her to feel like she was doing
Yeah,
nothing.
right.
I know she got bills and I need her. So I couldn't do nothing but bid, just see what I could do.
Right.
Without help, I couldn't have made it.
Right.
That's just it. But I was trying to please her, but nothing I did didn't please nobody. Nothing.
I'm sorry you had to go through that.
But I mean, I learned a lesson.
Yeah.
I mean,
You didn't
ain't
deserve to go
nothing
through that.
Ain't nothing happened that God didn't allow. Because I do believe that next day, after them hospital people and I done told her that day, the day you came, y'all came in.
Mm-hmm.
That was when hospital people come to get rid of me. Because they come in, and I'm looking at lady, everything we talked about, we ain't talked about that. And they was around me, and they already, I believe with all my heart, and I may be wrong, but I do believe that was the day that was
Gonna get rid of you.
get rid of me. Because she ain't got nothing left. She got
Right.
everything. She got everything she needed me for. She got it. And so these are the things will come back to my mind. And can't nobody stop that. You know, so sometimes if it's hurt me so bad I cry. I don't want nobody to feel like feeling sorry for me because it was a lesson. Because I never would have dreamed it. Never. Nobody couldn't have told me. She really, because she's showing all the guilty under. You ain't did nothing, you don't even be there. She ain't gonna, I don't doubt it, she may not even, you may not even see her. But why? Why? If she had a clean heart. These are the things that I'm sure, but I know I can't figure them out because God done worked it out. I gotta
Right.
let it
God
alone.
worked it out.
But
So you no longer have to go through that anymore.
So that's my thing, is that the programs are supposed to be here to protect our elderly family members, and they are not. But they will snatch a child out, but they know they're going through abuse. They'll take them out fast out the home, but our elderly parents have to stay in the home and continue the abuse. And that's what I reached out to you, because it's too many of them are going through this stuff. They get abused by their own family members, and no one won't step in and to protect them.
Yeah, and like I was saying at the beginning, you guys, this is close to me. My mother's uncle is going through this right now. You can tell he's in the earlier stages of like dementia. And the neighborhood that he lives in, it's bad. People break in, they steal his food, they steal furniture, they do all kinds of different stuff to him. And she just makes sure the bills are paid. And that's pretty much it. Here recently, they said that he bumped his head or did something, and she won't let the family know like where he's at. So that's why I was like, yes, I will take this. Yes, I will take this, because yeah, it is like not as spoke about. It's kind of like
Right.
it's just like nah.
Right.
But she had a life, before, and then furthermore, we all are going to die. We're gonna leave. But golly, can it be, what I'm saying?
Natural.
Yeah, natural and
Natural.
not rushed,
Right.
and it's just sickening, and it's like
Right.
whole family.
Right. And that's my hardest thing, that if I know my mother was 80 something, but if she would have passed him just naturally, I would be fine with it. Because she was in hospital for 5 months. I was there with her every day for 5 months in the hospital. So we had a chance to do a lot of talking until she couldn't speak anymore. So I have a lot of recordings that she was saying, I was scared, Deandra. I was scared. I was afraid. I never thought that I would ever have a child to treat me like this. And we cried. We cried.
And also, with the Adult Protective Services program, I felt like they would just come out to see, but they never really made sure that nothing was done,
Right.
or that the patient was
Safe.
protected. It was so many times they would have us to repeat the story over and over, but there was no callback. There was no nobody coming out. I think maybe one time, the same
It's
woman
no
that she was
urgency.
speaking to,
It's no urgency.
yeah, she came out and she made my grandmother feel like she was going to help her. And then I think the ultimate heartache was, we was actually at the funeral home setting up funeral arrangements for my grandmother, because she didn't make it, unfortunately. Her health had gotten to such a bad place because of the neglect, because of the family member not taking her to the doctor's appointments and not taking her to. She's supposed to have surgery on her heart, but and by the time she did have the surgery, she was too weak to handle. Her body couldn't handle it. So it was just a lot of neglect that took her. We feel that took her to the place of death. But the people that were supposed to protect her, they failed her.
They failed to.
They really failed.
We called them about 20 times.
Yes.
Seriously.
Yes.
About 20 times.
Yes,
even when we was in Florida, I had talked to so many people to report it. And so, like she was saying, the day they called me when I walked into the funeral home, and a new caseworker had her case again. Oh, her case just got on my desk.
Yes.
Like I'm at the funeral home. I said, she's gone now. What is the
talk about?
And nothing else to talk about. Well, could you please just talk to me? No, I don't even want to talk. I never call her back. She's gone. Y'all didn't help her. Right. She cried out.
Yeah.
Because she was afraid even, and it's another thing too, that what happened to her. We were at this rehabilitation program, and they had the head man to come in and talk to her because my mother opened up and told him everything, right? I left and I went to pick my daughter up, and I came back. That same man, which supposed to kept it confidential.
Confidential.
Okay. He went and called the person and had told them what they said about them.
The
abuser. So when I come in the place, they in the room and there had my mother scared, in fear, hollering at her.
Intimidated.
Yes. So I had to roll her out the room and stuff. And I really wanted to file a lawsuit against them because you don't supposed to do that.
Yeah. I was going to ask, how's this family member? Like, any remorse?
I don't see him.
What'd you say?
Any remorse or?
Oh, no. We haven't seen them, but they didn't even show up to the funeral. So no, they didn't feel like they did anything
They trying to say they didn't do it.
Right.
But I have all the evidence.
Yes.
We
From
have
pictures to
but my mother, she just told me, promised me that
videos.
Right.
Because my uncle actually made a Facebook Live or a video, and my grandmother told what happened to her
on her Facebook.
Yeah, she sure did. When she was in the hospital, she was still able to talk. She was still alive, and she did tell. She just did not want them to be punished because she loved them. But at the end of the day, she told what they did. And it's sad that as the elderly, they cry out for help sometimes, and people just ignore them. People overlook them, or people want to hush them, make them be quiet. And I feel like that is awful.
It is
because what if it was you?
It is, and it's going to be.
They don't realize that you're going to get old.
We're all going to get old.
Yes.
And you have to reap what you sow.
I'm just so heartbroken, and the thing is that it's like we forget that people were young and they had life in them, and they lived a life. And this is a cycle that each and every one of us go through. She had children. She had grandchildren. What? And I just don't understand how people can do that to their own blood. It's like that's the evilness. Like that's the demonic entity that's in you. And I'm a woman of God, and I just believe in just pure hatefulness and evilness that can allow you to treat anybody, let alone your flesh and blood, like that. I just for the life of me, I just don't understand that. I just don't. So with everything being said, isn't there some steps that you can take so your grandmother can have justice even after her death? Isn't there something that can be done?
Well, that was a promise that I had promised her, that I wouldn't go after her criminally, because that was the only way to get her to tell me what all she went through.
Yeah. So I'm
trying to help other people,
to notice the signs.
Right.
Well, I can
I
respect
mean, I would push it, take it to the law. And if you gotta, sometimes even the adult protective services that's supposed to protect them, take it to possibly their boss or whoever's owner over that specific program, because sometimes they get comfortable in a position that they don't take it seriously. They just feel like, oh, as long as I did a report, I did my job.
Right.
But what about how the outcome of these person's life? They're stuck in this situation and they're defenseless. They can't help themselves. So who is going to help them? Who is going to help them? So I feel like if you have to, whatever you have to do, whatever process you have to take, from the law to a lawyer,
just don't stop.
Don't stop. We had to get what was it? What we had over her everything. I can't think of
power of attorney.
Power of attorney. We had to get power of attorney. Because the family member had put themselves as power of attorney. So once we showed what everything was, and we got through the rehabilitation program, through the rehabilitation facility, they had their people in there to help us.
Yeah, they helped
to get it turned around.
Right.
So sometimes you have to put your family in a rehab. That'll see that there is a problem.
Right.
And they will help you go into the steps to be able to help that family member. You can't just leave them in that home.
Right.
You have to go
calling.
in and help them.
Right.
So, don't know that somebody's hurting or somebody's suffering and just close your eyes, play a blind eye to it. Cause it could be you one day.
I appreciate you guys so much, like seriously, because I'm serious when I say my family is going through that now. And I be trying to tell my mama, tell it. And actually the people came out and investigated. And of course oh no, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because they're afraid. They are truly afraid.
And I'm trying not to get emotional, but every time he, oh no, you know what I'm saying, act as if, and we like, but what pisses me off about these caseworkers is that it's like, how long have y'all been doing this? Don't y'all see that this is malarkey?
Right.
I can read through people. I'm like,
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
I just don't understand. And it is a difference between a child and an elder. And if you think about it, we all go back to that state that we came in. We all go back to kind of being children, to where we got to be cared for and people got to look out for us again. You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of like, when they look at elderly people, it's like, oh, let's be real, they feel like they're on their way out anyway.
Right.
So they don't care.
Mm-hmm.
You know what
I'm
saying?
They don't care. Yeah.
Versus a child, they be like, well, they got their whole life. Let's get
whole life ahead.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's like, when you honor the elder, it extends your life. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so I just don't understand that. So for you guys to just say, you know what, we're going to honor, we're going to respect our grandmother, we're going to respect our mother, and just warn the next people. I respect you and I appreciate you so much. And I'm serious. I'm going to do a due diligence of making sure that this spreads as much as I can possibly do on my part to get this out.
Praying.
Yes. And praying that this doesn't impact somebody else's life. And maybe this will help my family, because we're literally going through this. Literally.
Right now, we're praying for your family as well.
Thank you, ladies, so much, because it's just sad. It's just sad, but thank you, ladies, so much. Can you guys let them know where they can connect with you? Maybe they have more stories that they would like to share with you guys. If you guys can let them know if you have social media or not.
Yes, you can go to Miss Dee Dee's Creation at facebook.com. And mine is Ms. Becky, MZBECKY Sandlin on Facebook. And inbox us, ask us whatever you need to ask us. And if we have any information that we could share with you, we would love to, because they need the help.
And they need the love.
They need the love.
They need the love. They deserve the love.
They do. They
Absolutely.
loved us when we was young and couldn't do for ourselves.
Right.
So now they deserve that. They deserve the same treatment. Yes.
Absolutely. Well, again, ladies, thank y'all so very much.
Thank
We
you.
will be in touch. We will be in touch. Thank you guys so very
Thank
much.
you.
And thank you guys for choosing me to have this precious story like this. And God bless your mother, your grandmother. I'm going to be praying for you guys and your family. But you know, she's resting with the angels, child. Okay.
She's
okay.
Yes, ma'am.
We trying to get where she is.
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
Okay.
All right.
So,
thank you again.
yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you
So thank you
much.
guys so much.
Thank you.
Right.
Bye bye. All right, you guys. So I just, in the meantime, I want to give you guys a bit of information how to spot and report elder abuse and neglect. Okay, seniors have a right to be free from abuse, neglect, and exploitation. Okay, abuse includes involuntary seclusion, okay, intimidation, humiliation, harassment, threats of punishment. Okay, deprivation, hitting, slapping, pinching, kicking, and any type of corporal punishment, sexual assault, sexual coercion, sexual harassment, verbal abuse, or any oral, written, or gestured language, like, you know, doing all that gesture stuff. That includes disparaging or derogatory terms, regardless of the person's ability to hear or comprehend. Neglect means the failure of a caretaker to provide the goods or services, including medical services, which are necessary to avoid physical or emotional harm or pain. Okay, the exploitation includes a caretaker's illegal use of a senior's resources, meaning that money that they get, okay, for monetary or personal benefit, profit or gain. Okay, seniors may need help with their finances, but unless they hand control over to another person, they have the same right as anyone else to receive, spend, and invest, save, or give away their money. Now, a family member, friend, or nursing home may not take control of a senior's money without that person's permission. Now, I know you're probably saying in regards to this, like, well, what if they're feeling intimidated and they're giving this person permission and they're not doing right with it? Okay. Now, here's the thing: if you are being abused or suspect that someone else is being abused, do not remain silent. Okay, that's why I thank these wonderful, beautiful Becky and her mother, okay, Dee Dee, for not being silent. Okay, not being silent. Okay, do not remain silent. If you are aware of a specific act of abuse, neglect, or exploitation, you are required by law. You're required by law to report it. You just are, right? Physical and mental abuse exists in many different forms. If you believe you or someone you know is suffering physical or mental abuse and in immediate danger, please call 911 or your local law enforcement agency. Now, if the victim is in a nursing home or assisted living facility or is in his or her own home and relies on a home health provider, call the Texas Department of State Health Services at 800-458-9858. If the victim is a resident of a long-term care facility that receives Medicaid funding, report the criminal abuse, neglect, or exploitation to the Attorney General's Medicaid Fraud Control Unit at 800-252-8011. Abuse of a senior who is not in a healthcare facility can be reported to Adult Protective Services at 800-252-5400. And you guys, again, this is not okay. Okay, this is absolutely not okay in no way, shape, or form. We are all going to rest in that grave one day. You better make sure you do a due diligence of doing your best in this earth. And that means to honor thy father, honor thy mother, And that don't necessarily mean that it got to be your mother, your father that you're honoring. You got to honor the mothers and the fathers of this world because you didn't create them. And you don't have a heaven or hell to place them in. So you do a due diligence of making sure that you want to give what you expect to receive, because you're going to have to answer for everything that you do here on this earth. Okay. And like I said, I respect them for not, wanting to go the full haul. You guys know that have been here on my channel. I am an unfortunate victim, but a survivor of sexual abuse by the hands of a family member, my darn self. Okay. Now, although I've done documentaries talking about it, I have, kept the protection of this particular person, because at the end of the day, God has the best way of dealing out revenge. Okay. Vengeance is mine, says the Lord. So I just try to make people be aware of the signs just as well as his mother and daughter did. So thank you guys so very much again for tuning in to Whitney D. I pray that this story touched you and blessed you. If it did, look out for the signs. And if you see something, report it. God bless you. Bye. Hey, Whitney D here. Now, if you like this video, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you click the subscribe button if you have not done so already. And make sure you click that notification bell, moving for personalized for all, so you can receive all the updates that I place here on the channel. And you can get all the notifications, okay? And make sure you connect with me on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. Well, all right, you guys. I love you, but most of all, God loves you. Until next time.
I'm a brand new creature, cause the old me done died. I'm new, yeah, I'm new.